Timmy, not in any particular order, so I don't want you to get wrapped up in the order, but these are the 5 storylines. Number 1 to me is Chi-Town. I think the White Sox are going to bounce back. They got a new manager. 2 years ago, they won the division. Cubs spent a lot of money in the off year, brought a shortstop in. I think they're in a bad division, both these teams. I think both could be factors. I like the storyline with this great baseball market. That's number 5. Number 4, obviously the Angels. With Ohtani, with that as a backdrop, will they be able to re-sign him? Most likely not. Would they trade him in July if they're out of it? But can they stay in contention for a while? Rendon, can he be healthy? Trout, can he be healthy? Enough pitching? And then, of course, Ohtani. Ownership didn't change. Fascinating story of the Angels. Can they play in that American League West? Number 3. What did I put number 3? I put number 3 as the trendy teams. These are the Blue Jays and these are the Padres. I do not like trendy teams. When everybody loves somebody, the old adage is in Vegas, get off them. And everybody loves San Diego. They did 2 years ago. They were terrible. Love them again. And everybody loves the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays have never won a playoff game. Blue Jays have a lot of swagger for a team that's done nothing in the last couple of years. But those are 2 trendy teams. I want to get Timmy's thought on that in a sec. Number 2 is going to be New York State of Mind. Obviously, the Yankees and Mets, big payrolls. Obviously, some injuries, especially with the Mets. But these are 2 teams that have a chance to win a World Championship. Yankees added pitching. Mets have Verlander and Scherzer. Last year, they had a very big disappointment at the end. That's always a big deal, too. And then number 1, without a doubt, is the rule changes. Baseball's got a lot of momentum to start the year. They had a good WBC for folks who like that. Baseball in the spring was only 2 hours and 31 minutes. It was over 3 hours last year in spring training. They got the shift. Since 2012, did you know, because of the shift, that there have been 5,300 less hits? 5,300 less hits. And the games have been 12 minutes longer. Both the shift and the pitch clock should lower that. So those are my 5 big ones. Now the expert, the Baseball Hall of Famer. Timmy, it's all yours. What do you like? What do you don't like? Take it away.
Well, you did a good job there, Doug. I definitely agree with you on the rule changes. We need to bring back the value of the hit in today's game. And I think with the change in the shift, we might get a few ground balls up the middle that are hits now. Ground balls to the right of the first baseman that are hits now. That's what we really need. I disagree with you on the trendy teams. I'll talk about this more in a minute. The Padres are really good, and I think Toronto's going in the right direction at a very high rate of speed. And I will agree with you completely on the Angels because they're the biggest storyline of the year for me. The Ohtani situation is as fascinating as you'll ever see, given what a great player he is, and given that he's a free agent at the end of the season. So what do they do with him? As you said, do they trade him at the trade deadline? Or do they try the whole season to win with him and try to re-sign him, which is a chance that could happen. I've spoken to the Angel people. They have some faith that they can keep him. But I also think the Angels have a chance to make a huge upgrade with their club. Again, they won 73 games last year. But if Ohtani's himself and Trout plays 145 games, and Rendon plays 145 games and swings it like he did this spring with that underrated rotation, the Angels have an outside chance to make the playoffs, and then that changes perhaps the whole look at Ohtani and his free agency.
The 2 New York State of Mind, Timmy, give me the Mets, Yankees, and do a little White Sox Cubs. Let me get your thoughts on the 2 big cities with the 4 teams. Go ahead.
All right, I'm picking the Mets to win their division in a very close race over the Braves and the Phillies, and I think they're all going to the playoffs. I picked the Yankees to win their division barely over the Blue Jays and the Rays, and I think they're all going to the playoffs. I really like where the Yankees are, except, of course, their starting pitching is all banged up. When that gets healthy, they're going to be really good, and the Mets are going to miss Edwin Diaz tremendously. But they're still going to be a really good team this year, and they're making the playoffs one way or another. As for the White Sox, I see your point. I could see them making a run and winning the division. I still like the Guardians more than I like them, and I liked what I saw from the Cubs this year. They're on the way up with some of their players, but I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but at least they're going in the right direction.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.